Thank you for being here.
Lori, it's good to be here.
We're diving deeper into this topic. First, help us understand some basics here. We know that bail is money paid by someone after they're arrested so they can get out of jail until they're put on trial. But how can it be cashless? Obviously, we're not talking about paying with a credit card. You know, you think about Nealon going cashless. That's top of mind for some people.
Well, President Trump, after the clampdown on the District of Columbia, is now targeted jurisdictions that have cashless bond. And what that means is that's a very simple term for pretrial release. So instead of having to come out of pocket paying a bondsman or person a percentage of your bond, typically under Tennessee law, if it's $100,000, you would pay a bondsman 10%, 10 grand, and they assume the risk. They are the sureties for your bail, and they make sure you're in court. They make sure you comply with the rules of pretrial release, or like Dog the Bounty Hunter, they will come find you. Pretrial release, which we also have in Knox County, is just basically you report to a hybrid probation officer. They give you rules, they give you regulations, and if you don't comply with them, then the sheriff's department comes to get you. But what the problem is, the rub, a lot of jurisdictions have made a revolving door where it's too easy to get in, get out, and commit the same offense like carjacking, shoplifting over and over.
Now you have people who commit what are deemed by law to be lesser crimes. But what about the risk assessment for the people you just talked about?
And here's how in Tennessee, and listen to the microcosm of Knox County, at the detention facility, if you're arrested, someone calls me, goes, hey, loved one on the way to jail, here's what happens. They will see a magistrate within 4 hours, they're 4-hour shifts, then they'll look at the criteria under the Tennessee Bail Reform Act. Your ties to the community, the seriousness of the offense, whether you have a criminal record, whether it's a crime of violence, do you have a history of drug or alcohol abuse, and then they compute all that, and then pursuant to the old-fashioned 8th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, they are required to set a reasonable bond.
All right, speaking of the Constitution, really quickly, the president obviously heads up the executive branch of the federal government. How can he stop cashless bail when this is a constitutional right or privilege, if you will, to have bail set in your case?
Well, again, it's just not denying bail. It's requiring it to be a cash-driven release from jail. But it's kind of the chicken and the egg, the carrot and the stick. What the president has tasked Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, with doing is finding ways to tie federal funds to jurisdictions that have cashless bail and put a stop to it to make it harder to get out. But think about this. You're a citizen accused. You're innocent. You want your day in court. You certainly don't want to wait for that day to come behind bars.
All right, Greg, thank you.
And if you have a legal question, send it to AskIsaacs@WATE.com. And remember, we talk with Greg every Wednesday at 5:30 right here on Channel 6. For a deeper conversation, you can watch it all right now on WATE 6+.